Stocks gain on expectations of the NDA's return and policy continuity. Despite coalition compulsions, the market gives up some ground even as PSU stocks lead the charge besides utilities, realty and capital goods, and FMCG is the weak link. BHEL bags two orders aggregating to over 7,000 crore rupees. RVNL also clocks a new order win and NBCC snaps up orders of just under 500 crore rupees. The wins and NDA's expected return fuel optimism on capex. Titan has started selling sunglasses via quick commerce and is set to sell prescription eyewear online. The management tells CNBC-TV18 that it is confident of turning EBIT positive in all emerging businesses by the end of FY27. Murugappa Group's Vellayan Subaya tells CNBC-TV18 that he is confident of CG Power's bet on e-mobility and plans to launch a three-wheeler, a truck and a tractor. He is also building a chip assembly and testing unit in Gujarat and plans a foray into appliances with CG Power. And Nvidia becomes the second most valuable company after Microsoft and ahead of Apple after its market cap tops $3 trillion. This even as regulators are likely to start antitrust probes into roles of Microsoft, OpenAI and Nvidia in the artificial intelligence industry. Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18's HDFC Sky Election Headquarters. I am Hormuz Fatakia. You're watching Business Lunch, and it's a day when the market continues to recover after that sharp sell-off that we saw during Tuesday's trading session. There is some bit of recovery, but the market is off the highs of the day but continues to trade in positive territory. There you can see the Nifty finding some resistance at around 22,900 and it is now trading around levels of 22,750, still 100 points higher on the Nifty Bank as well. That has been the one that saw the biggest fall during the results day. That was down almost 4,000 points. It recovered some around 1,200 of them yesterday, but it has almost given up all the gains, has the Nifty Bank, finding some resistance around 49,680 and giving up those gains now is struggling to hold on to the mark of 49,000. But what is doing well though are PSU stocks, and those were the ones that were in focus. There has been a lot of chatter about all the PSU stocks after the election outcome. MK in its note even went on to say that they have exited all of their PSU holdings, but they are staging a comeback. BHEL is up 9%, pull up REC and PFC as well. Those were the ones that were down almost 25% during Tuesday's trading session. They saw some bit of recovery and that is continuing today as well. REC is up 6%. PFC is also up around 4.5%. All of them are off the highs of the day, mind you, but they continue to trade with gains. But let's shift focus now to some post-election verdict developments. Parikshit is now joining in to give us the latest roundup of all the developments that have taken place in the national capital. Parikshit, over to you.
Well, absolutely. A lot of key meetings taking place in the national capital. Nitish Kumar is still here. Several JDU leaders, MPs who have been elected have been holding meetings at his residence. Tomorrow is the key NDA meeting where all the NDA MPs who have been elected will come together in Parliament for a meeting. All eyes now on the swearing-in ceremony likely to take place on the 8th, that is Saturday. We've got leaders from India's neighborhood who have been invited, heads of state, heads of government. Now, in terms of the actual nitty-gritties of cabinet portfolios, this time it is a coalition government. We believe that the TDP has asked for at least 3 to 4 key portfolios. The Speaker's post has also been asked for by the JDU and by the TDP. The JDU has asked for some important portfolios such as infrastructure ministries, economic ministries as well. Same for the JDU. They've asked for 4 to 5 cabinet berths. So it remains to be seen how the Prime Minister, Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, JP Nadda, who've really been holding all those back-channel negotiations with allies, will actually accommodate everyone. Even allies like the LJP, they've asked for 1 cabinet post, an MOS post as well. So let's wait and see how different allies, because the allies this time are very important for the NDA. The BJP has not been able to form a government on its own. So all of these allies and their MPs will have to be accommodated in some way or the other. The swearing-in ceremony will take place in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. As far as speculation about the India Alliance forming government, the message coming in from the India Alliance, it seems, is that they will play the role of a constructive opposition. They do not have the numbers on their own to form the government, and even if they do try and reach out to certain independents and other parties, they'll not be able to form the government. So even NDA leaders, BJP MPs who've called on Nitish Kumar and the TDP, Chandrababu Naidu, they've all said that both these leaders are completely with us. They have asked for special status for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. So let's see what happens. Of course, there will be a lot of young faces in the cabinet this time, a lot of new faces, because big ministers such as Mahendranath Pandey, who was the heavy industries minister, he's lost his election. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who was a big face for all the IT industry talks from the government side, he's also lost his election as MOS Meti. So let's see what happens. A lot of new faces set to be inducted into the cabinet.
Parikshit, thanks a lot for that. And continuing with our post-election coverage, let's cut across to Shireen Bhan, who is in conversation with Tamil Nadu's Minister of Industries, TRB Raja. Shireen, over to you.
Well, the India opposition bloc registered a clean sweep in Tamil Nadu. The DMK Congress Left Alliance, which also includes some regional parties, won all 39 seats in the state. The DMK contested on 22 seats, leaving the rest for the allies. The Stalin-led party won all Lok Sabha seats in 2019 as well. The alliance as a whole had lost just one Lok Sabha seat. DMK chief M.K. Stalin was also part of the India Alliance meeting that took place yesterday. Joining me now to discuss the latest developments is TRB Raja, the Industries Minister from Tamil Nadu. Mr. Raja, always a pleasure. Many thanks for joining us here on CNBC-TV18, and congratulations to you and the India Alliance for that clean sweep as far as the state of Tamil Nadu is concerned. What do you read into, this as far as this victory is concerned? Because this was a state where the Prime Minister spent a lot of his time, his focus, his attention on. What do you think went in your favor?
I think we kept it simple. Our leader, what went in our favor was our leader's excellent work and his dedication on the field, on his focus on real issues. We focused on jobs. We focused on getting the entire economy back on track. We had a very bad 10-year regime and COVID's effects. As soon as my leader, through M.K. Stalin, took over, he made sure that the economy was back on track. And he also sent out a very strong message to India as such, to the entire country. He said he will stand by those who are with social justice, those who are for equity, those who are for inclusive growth. And he stuck to his guns, even though the regime up top let loose the entire machinery that they had with them against the state. We had so many issues, but he stood like a rock. He said, no, I'm not going to budge. I'm going to stay for India, which is more secular, more, and he would stand always for the democratic values and for cooperative federalism.
You mentioned cooperative federalism, Mr. Raja. What do you think this verdict means now as far as cooperative federalism is concerned? The DMK and the India Alliance from Tamil Nadu will send 39 MPs to the Lok Sabha. In terms of perhaps evening out the balance that had shifted in your assessment and in the assessment of opposition leaders like yourselves in favor of the centre, do you believe that there is going to now be a rebalancing?
Absolutely, and I think I'm extremely glad that Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu also has been a very vociferous proponent of cooperative federalism, because as the Chief Minister himself and his extremely beautiful relationship with our leaders, my leader Kalangar Aurgal and our present Chief Minister, my leader through M.K. Stalin will share a very beautiful relationship with through Chandrababu Naidu, and we know that he's going to make sure that there's going to be that cooperative federalism is key for this new regime.
Mr. Raja, you talked about, in your words, this beautiful friendship between Chandrababu Naidu and M.K. Stalin. In fact, M.K. Stalin and Chandrababu Naidu did meet yesterday in the capital as the NDA and the India Alliance meetings were underway. And there was a lot of speculation on whether overtures are being made to Mr. Naidu. Of course, now the NDA resolution has been passed and the TDP is firmly with the BJP and they will stake claim to form government. But, the Chandrababu Naidu is also the first CEO, Chief Minister, the original CEO, Chief Minister. As you start to now compete with another state for investments, how do you view the competitive landscape?
My leader is a very mature leader, and he's always been telling us that we compete. It has to be a very mature, friendly competition, and we compete for India as a state. So it is not for just one state. We compete. We've always competed and made sure that we've gotten the best investments in the best interest of the country. So we know that we'll be competing with several other states now, but we have our strengths on our own. There's no match for Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the #1 state when it comes to investment promotion and making sure that the investments thrive in the country.
Well, speaking of investments, Mr. Raja, I know that you were also reaching out to Elon Musk and the team at Tesla to try and woo them to set up shop in the state of Tamil Nadu. Where do those talks stand? Has any progress been made on that front?
I can only tell you that any and all the big investments that are coming into India, their first stop has always been Tamil Nadu, and we'll make sure that all the big investments come into Tamil Nadu if the incentive package is sensible, because we are very, very careful about how we spend the money, the people's money, on incentives, and make sure that if any of these investments are coming, they've got to give us big jobs and high-end jobs. That's what Tamil Nadu wants.
Mr. Raja, you spoke about that relationship that your leader enjoys with Chandrababu Naidu. So let me ask you a larger question about the concern that southern states have with respect to delimitation and that exercise and the implications come 2026. Is this going to be an area, an issue that you believe that the DMK and the TDP will take up together?
Yes, absolutely. Because all the southern states have been very good at population control, and we worked on what the union said decades back, and we've done a very, very good job. Now, that doing a good job should not be punished, right? Somebody doing a good job should not be punished. And I think the entire spectrum of leaders, sensible leaders all over India, agree with that point. And our genuine request will be heeded too, and I think we'll make good ground on that now.
Okay. Would you be concerned, though, while it still has been a clean sweep for the India Alliance in Tamil Nadu, would you be concerned with the fact that you've got the BJP and the NDA's vote share going up to almost about 12%, and the AIA-DMK is actually lost in many of those crucial constituencies, 12 constituencies, the AIA-DMK finding itself in the #3 position versus the NDA at #2. So, next assembly election, how concerned are you that it's going to be a battle between you and the BJP-led NDA?
Answer is just there in your observation itself. The BJP has not gained. That is it. That's the bottom line. They have not gained. What has happened is a result of the tacit understanding that the BJP had with the ADMK. The votes that they've gotten has come from the ADMK, and their leadership and their local leadership has tied up with they had an understanding with the BJP. And this is exactly what the DMK has been saying from day one, that these guys have really not parted ways. So they are together. They did fight it as one. Some of the hardcore real ADMK party men said, no, we're not going to vote for BJP. And that's why they stuck to the 17%, or else they would have gone even below that. Whatever the BJP has gained has been the loss of ADMK. So that's going to be corrected, hopefully, within the house of ADMK. I think a lot of noise has already started within the ADMK now, and the earlier ADMK, if you want to call, and right. Those who left or those who were thrown out have been called back now. So that they're correcting they're trying to get their house in order. But BJP has not gained in Tamil Nadu. They've only gotten help from ADMK, and that's a temporary issue. BJP will never, ever increase their vote share in Tamil Nadu.
Is there clarity now? And there was, of course, that first meeting of the India bloc post the elections that took place last evening. Is there clarity on the issues that you intend to take up, the issues that you intend to raise in Parliament? For instance, we're already seeing many parties raise the issue of Agniveer, seeking a review as far as the Agniveer scheme is concerned. This is something that Rahul Gandhi was vociferously backing as well. But outside of that, other specific issues that the bloc intends to raise?
There are loads of issues, including CAA and other issues. GST has to be relooked into. And as I said, as a federal country, the interest of states, each and every state must take center stage. And Parliament must be a place where we talk about states and not just Delhi, right? Not just Delhi and its interests. Parliament must be a space where we talk about how we distribute the wealth of India in a very sensible way and not just, throw money away when hardworking southern states or any other state for that matter, when the money of people of India, all the states of India, is put into one pool, at Delhi. Yeah. And if it's given off to certain, if it's some vested interest, then India loses on its own, as a country loses. So this is what the states have been saying, and we want our equal share, our share. This has been a huge political, we've been watching it out throughout our campaign here in Tamil Nadu, and I think that needs to be corrected first. Whatever, we're happy to give money, we're happy to give our share to the nation, to nation building, but we just hope nation building happens all over India and not just in states where the central government or the union government, whichever party is in power in the union, it should not be biased towards states where they are in power.
Right. Mr. Raja, very quickly, we're running out of time, but on the GST, you said that you intend to raise the GST as a cause for concern as well. What specifically would you now like to be reviewed? The rate structure, the 5-slab structure has been something that one would imagine would be taken up with the new dispensation being in office. The Congress has suggested 3 rates. What is it that you would raise as a concern? What is it that you would like to see being changed with the GST?
Yeah, my Chief Minister, Venkata Stalin, has already advised our Finance Minister to Gangam Thanar Sarwal, and he's been very vociferous at the GST Council. You do know that Tamil Nadu has always spoken excellently at the GST Council and set standards for India. We have our own issues, we have our own thought processes when it comes to what GST slabs have to be, and definitely reducing them is definitely on the cards, and that's a must for India's overall growth, especially for the MSME sector. There's loads of requests from the MSME sector here that I know of personally. I've been campaigning in Coimbatore, which is a huge MSME base, industrial base, and all those requests I've given it to my Chief Minister. And I'm sure all of this is going to come up, and GST is going to be one of the most important matter that's going to be discussed in Parliament. We're going to get our way on that.
GST will be one of the most important issues that the India bloc intends to take up. A rationalization of rates is certainly something that has been on the table, hasn't been taken up so far, but TRB Raja there, the Industry Minister of Tamil Nadu, saying that it will be pushed by the India Alliance when Parliament reconvenes. Mr. Raja, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us today to decode the electoral result, what it means not just for the state of Tamil Nadu, but also for the Lok Sabha when we see the new Parliament taking shape. Thanks very much for joining us here today. Well, that's the latest newsmaker here on the Election Exchange. There's plenty more coming up. Hormuz, back to you.
Back with us here on Business Lunch, and now CG Power will foray into the consumer business by selling appliances. Now that is the word coming in from Murugappa Group's Velayan Subaya. Now he spoke to Shireen Bhan from the sidelines of the EY World Entrepreneur Awards in Monte Carlo, where he is representing India. Subaya said that he was betting big on the electric mobility and semiconductor businesses. However, he also ruled out any acquisitions in the near future, and he's betting on organic growth and partnerships.
A new business that we're adding in that mix is the consumer business because a non-compete got over in 2021. So that continues to have a lot of opportunity. For the consumer business, we basically start with fans and pumps and kind of, the more general electrical appliance areas, and then look at new areas for growth beyond that. So for the first couple of years, we'll just be establishing a beachhead in those areas, and then we'll start looking at what we can do from a growth perspective. Government has been very, very fast with all of its approvals. We've just started the design and building of the factory in Gujarat, but these are quite complex factories to build. So our estimates are it'll be 2026 before we can basically start operations at that factory. We're kind of going full steam ahead. We've got I would say over 50% of the senior level memberships of the team basically recruited, and we're basically working on the design and build at this stage. I think the semiconductor industry is really going to mushroom in India. I think there's a lot of potential for it, just because of the raw horsepower we have in terms of intellectual capacity. Almost 20% of the world's semiconductor design engineers are Indian, right? So I do feel like that sector has tremendous potential in India, and it's a sector that I personally am again very, very optimistic about in terms of the opportunities for the country.
We have a very interesting story on CG Power that was done by my colleague Prashant just a few weeks ago. So you can catch that on our social media handles and also on CNBC-TV18.com. But time for a short break here on Business Lunch. When we return, we'll get you more news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The market seems to be cooling off a little more from the highs of the day, or even when we began the show. The Nifty is now at 22,720. It's extremely choppy as of now. It fell to the day's low. Then there came a bit of a recovery from the lowest levels of the day, and now the Nifty is facing some pressure there as well. So 22,720 is where the Nifty is. The Nifty Bank continues to remain where it was at the start of the show, so that remains flat. But the contributors there, you can see what's dragging the index lower are banking stocks, and Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, HUL, the star of yesterday's trading session, is now back among the losers and is also among the biggest drags on the index, as is Mahindra and Mahindra. But for Mahindra and Mahindra, you need to be mindful of the fact that the stock is already up 60% already in 2024. It is the best performer on the Nifty. So a bit of profit booking from higher levels is par for the course. What is doing well though is IT, and those HCL Tech, Infosys, Tech Mahindra is the top gainer now. HCL Tech is the top gainer on the Nifty, both trading with gains of around 3.5% each. Infosys is also among the top contributors as well. So IT doing well, real estate doing well, and PSUs continue to do well, but the index is off the highs of the day. But moving on then, the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee meeting is currently underway with the policy decision due tomorrow. A CNBC-TV18 poll is expecting status quo, with the RBI maintaining its stance at withdrawal of accommodation. Ritu is here with more details. Ritu, over to you.
Well, this may be a bit of a wait-and-watch policy because it's squeezed in between the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections and the full budget that is only going to be presented in July. But more importantly, you have a strong growth print, inflation is still ruling above target, and the US Fed is not really itching to cut rates. So there's no real reason for RBI to move on rates just yet. And so this time around, what the markets are going to do is focus on other things, like what the central bank says about, one, liquidity, because, systemic liquidity continues to remain in deficit, even though you have that government surplus cash balance as the elephant in the room. And the second one on inflation, because the last mile of disinflation is taking a tad longer than what was initially expected. But that said, no one is expecting, of course, any change in the repo rate. So a status quo policy for the 8th consecutive time, and no change in the stance, which is also likely to be left at withdrawal of inflation, withdrawal of accommodation. Now, none of the economists that we polled expect any change in stance before August, in fact, and the majority are are expecting the first rate cut to only happen in October, or some even later. On the macro front, the inflation is expected to be left unchanged, the forecast that is, for the year at 4.5%. Now keep in mind, inflation has been moderating at about 4.8% in April, and core inflation providing some comfort to the MPC, but the high food prices, they continue to remain a spot of bother. On the growth numbers, however, they're likely to be revised up from 7%. A majority of the respondents said it could be anywhere between 7 to 7.5%, but many are even expecting it to be left unchanged. The tone of the policy is expected to be absolutely even because there's no real change from the last time around. And finally, to end with what we started with on liquidity. Now, markets want to watch out for any measures RBI may introduce later to regulate the changes in liquidity from any passive inflows that come in from index inclusions. And of course, they expect RBI to continue managing liquidity through the main and fine-tuning operations as needed.
Ritu, thanks a lot for that. RBI Governor will be the one in focus tomorrow morning. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch. Midcap Radar takes the action forward. From me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching.